Hi guys, welcome back to Manga Mono.
僕は今、訳あって一人暮らしをしてるんだけど。
Anime starts with Amezumi playing video games with his three gorgeous classmates. Since he's a loner living alone, Amezumi is now wondering how his apartment became their favorite hangout place. Suddenly, his sword hero wakes up because Raina is a little too close to him.
さすがに近づきすぎなんじゃ。
Noticing this, Raina decides to play with his sword hero, which makes Amezumi distracted and lose the game. Since she's the winner, Ruri has to decide Amezumi's penalty, but she puts it on hold because she's hungry and wants to buy some food. As Ruri and Yukina are about to leave, they ask Raina if she wants to go with them. Raina says she will stay behind because she still wants to play with Amezumi.
行くのめんどいから私のも適当に買ってきてくんね。いいけど。
The two ladies immediately realize what she's planning and tell her not to overdo it. The moment they're alone, Rina immediately turns her attention to Amezumi's sword hero. She reveals she knows about his cultured magazines on ladies like them, and that she'll make his dreams come true. Rina then proceeds to give his sword hero some training, and it ends up dropping some of its white gold reserves. Ruri and Yukina return from the convenience store and catch Rina getting ready to give Amezumi some appreciation. Even though they already anticipated it, the two are still in disbelief that Rina couldn't hold back. However, they quickly forget about their grievances the moment they see Amezumi's powerful sword hero. Ruri and Yukina then take over and work together to give Amezumi his penalty for losing the game earlier. It seems the two of them plan to tease him by not letting him spill his white gold. However, when the helpless Amezumi begs them cutely, Yukina changes her mind and lets Amezumi shower her with his white gold. After that, she forgets to control herself and begins appreciating him. Raina and Ruri get jealous after feeling left out, so they also join in on the appreciation. Amezumi can't believe that the three most beautiful ladies in his school, the very ones that many boys are intimidated to even approach, are actually appreciating him simultaneously. Amezumi suddenly can't hold back any longer and deposits his white gold into Yukina's account, making her step on some freshly opened Legos. Exhausted, Amezumi tries to rest, but Reina won't let him. She takes her turn to appreciate Amezumi and ends up stepping on Legos after he makes a deposit in her bank account too. After that, Amezumi loses track of time as the three ladies take turns greedily extracting as much of the white gold he had brought that day. Later that night, Amezumi goes to the toilet to be alone because he's too nervous to sleep. To his surprise, Ruri suddenly enters and says she wants to play, but without protective gear this time. Amezumi can't say no, so he just lets her appreciate him and extract whatever's left of his white gold reserves. The next day, the ladies ask Amezumi why he's living alone, and he reveals it's because his parents kicked him out. He says his parents want him to become strong and independent. Strong and independent? Since they have giant hearts. The ladies decide to help Amezumi out. They start to record a collaboration video with him, which they will send to his mother to show Amezumi's progress with his training. By the end of it, Amezumi records the ladies cleaning his sword hero and takes the time to admire his recent gains in life. In the next few days, the ladies continue to spend time with Amezumi and help him with his training arc. Despite failing his training, Raina rewards Amezumi because she couldn't resist his cuteness. Yukina calls her out, saying Rina's being too soft with him. However, as she watches the two having fun, she immediately gets jealous and joins them too. While the three are busy with tongue twister exercises, Ruri arrives and shows them the travel vouchers for a hot spring resort that her father gave her. When they arrive at the hot spring resort later, Amezumi and the ladies are impressed by how luxurious the place is. Rina and Ruri waste no time and start arguing about who gets to enjoy the hot spring first with Amezumi. In the end, they forget about the hot spring and just focus on appreciating Amezumi's sword hero instead. Later in the evening, room service arrives to deliver their dinner. When the hotel staff enters the room, she sees the girls waiting in line to play with Amezumi. Shocked and terrified by what's happening before her, the hotel staff screams and runs away. Gianna goes after her since they're all hungry and need food to continue training. The ladies later take Amezumi to the hot springs for some soul cleansing. After doing their best to cleanse him, Ruri and Raina get a hefty deposit of white gold from Amezumi. When they return to their room later, Imizumi loses control. His sword hero goes berserk on Yukina, who ends up passing out after accidentally stepping on 1,000 Legos. Raina and Ruri suddenly recover their cultural energy after seeing what happened to Yukina. They ask Amezumi to choose the next challenger for his sword hero. He chooses Ruri, which makes Raina jealous. To Ruri's surprise, she also can't handle the sword hero's berserk mode and passes out like Yukina. When it's Raina's turn, Imizumi politely asks if he can deposit his white gold into her account. When Raina says he can do whatever he wants, Imizumi goes beast mode again. Rina requests some tongue twisters while Imezumi's sword hero goes on a rampage, and he obliges her. Ruri wakes up and sees what's happening. She realizes that Raina is more serious about Amezumi than she initially thought. Then, when the time is right, Imezumi finally deposits all the white gold he has been saving so far into Raina's bank account. Raina then tries to confess her feelings for Imezumi, but it seems he's finally passed out, so she simply wishes him a good night's sleep instead. When Imezumi returns to school a few days later, one of his classmates confronts him about his recent closeness to Raina and her friends. The boy expresses how jealous he is of Imezumi. He tells him that what Imizumi has going on with Rihanna's group now will only be temporary. Imizumi simply smiles and agrees with his classmate. However, deep inside, the thought seems to be stressing him out already. And it turns out he's scared that the ladies will get tired of him one day and just move on, leaving him alone again. During one of their appreciation sessions later, Imezumi gets a phone call from his mom, so he stops what they're doing to answer the call, leaving the ladies a little neglected. However, the ladies quickly get an idea. While Imezumi talks to his mom about her visiting him soon, Raina and Yukina continue appreciating him. Imezumi panics, and since he doesn't want his mother to hear his cultural sounds, he rushes to end the call, which somehow disappoints his partners. Of course, they continue with their appreciation, and Imezumi doesn't forget to shower them with his white gold for their efforts. Then, Ruri arrives wearing a cheerleader outfit that Imezumi loves. She also reminds Rina and Yukina that they're late for their part-time jobs. As they prepare to leave, Raina tells Ruri not to go overboard. However, Ruri says that's exactly what she plans to do. Jealous, Rina tells Imezumi to get ready when she returns later, because she plans to empty all his white gold reserves. Once they're alone, Ruri and Imezumi immediately begin their dance. As always, they lose track of time, and Imezumi fills Ruri's bank account with the white gold she loves so much. The next day at school, Imezumi is bothered again by the thought of losing his connection with the ladies. While he's lost in thought, Yukina suddenly appears and asks Imezumi to appreciate her. They go to the school's restroom, and Imezumi, being the gentleman that he is, generously fills Yukina's bank account again. Imezumi's mother visits him on Friday that week, and things go well. By Saturday, he expects the ladies to visit him, but to his surprise, they don't. By Sunday, the ladies are still a no-show, and Imezumi starts to get anxious, thinking that his worst fear is happening. Outside, Rhino makes her way to Imezumi's apartment. It turns out they plan not to visit him on the weekend so that they could surprise him by Monday during his birthday. However, Raina can no longer wait, so she disregards their plans and sneakily visits Imezumi. When she enters his apartment, she is surprised to see Imezumi crying and feeling lonely. Touched by the thought that Imezumi actually longs for them, Raina stops holding back. She takes the lead and gives him an intense evening workout. She then tries to tease Imezumi by not letting him make a deposit, but he can't hold it back because his pressure cooker is about to explode. Then, the two get interrupted when Ruri and Yukina arrive. It turns out they sensed a disturbance in the force and realized what Rhino was up to. Of course, when they learned that Imezumi was lonely because they didn't visit him for a few days, they immediately joined in to cure his loneliness. While Yukina is in high spirits initially, she quickly passes out because she doesn't actually have enough endurance to withstand the full force of Imezumi's sword hero, which is in raging demon mode. The other ladies get the same treatment, and they all get overwhelmed. Surprisingly, they all recover quickly and continue their appreciation session until morning. Raina's sleep gets interrupted because someone is ringing the doorbell. To her surprise and annoyance, it's her elder sister. Imezumi moved into a better living space a month after his all-out birthday celebration, It turns out he got kicked out of his old apartment, so Ruri let him move into her father's condo unit and even gave him cheaper rent. However, nothing much has changed. As usual, Ruri and Rina argue about who gets to appreciate Amaizumi first. Rina again gets to go first since she is a follower of the take charge and get what you want attitude. Of course, Ruri tries her best to fight back too. However, they get interrupted this time when Yukina says they no longer have any tissues left. Then, to their surprise, Ruri volunteers to buy some, but she decides to take Amaizumi with him. The other ladies immediately realize that Ruri plans to appreciate Amaizumi somewhere else. On their way out, Ruri and Amaizumi bump into Rina's elder sister, Risa. Amaizumi is quickly captivated by her beauty, and it seems Risa is aware of what he and the ladies are up to all the time. Ruri feels threatened and warns Risa that if she ever tries to appreciate Amaizumi, she will return her rent to normal immediately. It seems the only thing Ruri is worried about with Imazumi's new place is the fact that Risa lives next door to him. As Rina and Yukina predicted earlier, Ruri brings Amaizumi to a hotel. She shows her the latest piece she bought from Victoria's Secret, which makes Amaizumi go berserk again and intensely appreciate her. However, Ruri is happy because it is why she bought them in the first place. The next day, Risa visits Amaizumi and finds him alone. While she says she only wants to hang out initially, Risa eventually can't resist and shows Amaizumi the forbidden karaoke powers honed by an elder sister. After getting to know his sword hero, Risa stops, holding back entirely. She appreciates Amaizumi until she accidentally steps on his Legos. Of course, Amaizumi remembers to fill Risa's bank account with his prized white gold to thank her for her appreciation. Risa then tries to bring Amaizumi home, but Ruri and the gang arrive and catch her in the act. They all call her out for losing control and going after Amaizumi. In her defense, Risa simply says she can't help it because she keeps hearing their Lego stepping noises every single night. Imaizumi tries to silently sneak away. Ruri catches him. Shh. She and Rina then collaborate to teach him a lesson. It seems they plan to keep appreciating him, but won't let him release his white gold. Risa suggests they shouldn't go overboard with Ameizumi's penalty. Rina immediately calls her out, saying it's Risa's fault that Ameizumi's in such a position in the first place. While the rest of the ladies are distracted arguing, Yukina sneakily appreciates Amaizumi and lets him deposit his white gold in her account out of mercy. Rina and Ruri see this and get extremely jealous. They tell Amaizumi that they won't rest until they are happy with the results of his penalty. After that, Ameizumi's mind goes blank as Rina and Ruri greedily extract his white gold savings. He only remembers the sweet scent of Risa's perfume and how she happily appreciated him. And guys, please in the end, don't forget to support us with a like for the video and algorithms say you will like these videos.